Hey you guys. Okay, so today is going to be the miraculous day that I actually had time to sit down and do this question and answers video. I put up a post about maybe a month and a half ago asking for questions from those of you who are either new followers or just have been following me for some time and you had questions you wanted me to answer. So I'm going to go over those. I'm going to be using my iPad to look at the questions, and as far as answering, I'm just winging it. So these answers are not going to be something that I've already pre-written. I'm just going with the flow. Okay, so I'm gonna with each question I'm gonna make sure that I mention the person that asked, only because I feel as though with the amount of questions I have I can do that. And yeah, all right, so the first question comes from Flo, and she is a content creator over at the Woods Way. I'll link her channel up in this area right here. And so her question was, how do you balance all that you do and be a content creator? I'm gonna honestly say that everything I do is literally planned. If it is not planned, I do not do it. That even goes down to how we homeschool, how I go out on dates with friends or anything like that. It has to be planned. My husband works from home, and sometimes we have to coordinate our schedules to be able for me to be able to do certain things around the house and record. Now I do try to pick times to edit either on the weekend or late at night after the kids have gone down. So first of all, I am a night owl. I can stay up to 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I ain't gonna tell y'all what I'm doing at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, because y'all should already know. Most times if I'm up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it is me watching like K-drama. And that's only if I don't have to get up early the next morning. So that's the first question. Oh, and I want to expound on being a content creator. So I'm going to show you guys my calendar. Here it is. So I literally run my calendar for each during the week. Everything has a color code in my calendar, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but so this is stuff that most of this stuff is something that I have set for every day of the week, every week. For example, every morning I get up at 6 a.m. That's the yellow boxes there. And then the pink boxes right underneath that is time with my husband. So I'll get up at 6. In between 6 and 7:30, I will do some household stuff. So that's me getting a lot done for the day. I do my cleaning, most of my cleaning, and let me just be clear. Most of the stuff that I'm doing early in the morning is either just emptying out the dishwasher and maybe wiping something down, because most of the house is clean before I go to bed. So if I have extra time, what I'm going to start doing now that the temperatures have dropped, I'm going to start getting up, getting like my day ready. My husband gets up with me, and he and I will prepare for the kids' schoolwork for the day. And so what I am going to incorporate, so he's going to tend to pulling out whatever coursework they have to do during the day, and I am going to take a 30 to 45 minute walk around the neighborhood. It's something that I'm trying to get a habit of doing. If I don't get the walk in the mornings, there's absolutely no way I will be able to pretty much walk unless I'm with Zorn. And so when I'm walking with Zorn, that's a completely different type of walk. That's just me giving him some outside time. But the walk that I'm talking about early in the mornings is walk for me, solely for me, my health, prayer time, and things like that. So then at 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, the kids are waking up. They are doing their morning routine. So their morning routine consists of them, of course, waking up, brushing their teeth, washing their face, getting dressed, cleaning their room. Bam, out the way. They do not come downstairs until that is done. And then when they do come downstairs, they immediately start breakfast. Now, I have older kids. The only breakfast that I'm really concerned about in my home is my baby, Zoran, and my husband and myself. Now, my kids who are 9, 13, and 19, they pretty much do their own thing when it comes to breakfast, and I give them the freedom to do it. So now if they are eating breakfast and they so happen to get done with breakfast before 9 o'clock, they will spend that extra time either watching TV or just playing around. School starts at 9. We block off school time for the kids. There is, I'm gonna put a little thing here showing you from 9 to 11:30, that's where they're doing art, Spanish, and reading. I tend to kind of work with Zoe Grace doing some language arts as well. And then within each subject, they have about 15 minutes to kind of wind down and relax and, you know, do other things. So for during this time, I am working on everyday Nesbitt stuff. So I am either recording, because a lot of the stuff that the kids are doing during this time, they are free to kind of do on their own. It's not necessary that they need us. We leave the instructional time for their school, for homeschooling, later in the day. So this is around the time where I'm like either doing some instructional time with Lauren, getting some recording done, and if I'm up really early, 9 times out of 10 when I'm recording early in the morning, the camera is just on and I'm just doing my thing, you know, what I normally do in the day. It's not something that's like, you know, planned or scheduled or, you know, things like that. It's just you guys seeing me in action at home. That's it. I have time to relax from 11:30 to 12:30. That's where I just relax. I can either catch up on a show, read a book. The kids eat lunch at 11:30 as well. I will have their lunch already ready, or they will fix their lunch when they're done with school at 11:30. It just depends, again, on the day. And then Zoran goes down for his nap at 1 o'clock. So I'm resting, and what Zoran is doing is pretty much resting, or he's like in here tearing up the house. My home is very well lived in, y'all. I get a lot of compliments about our home, and I thank you and I love you all for it, but this house is lived in, and so we don't shy away from him throwing his toys around. The pillows are all like bunched up and things like that. Everything is not always perfect in my house, trust me. So when he is down for his nap, Zoe Grace starts her instructional time with her dad, and her dad will sit with her and they literally go through things that they had planned for school that day. So typically mornings they have with me, afternoons they have with dad. We do tag team this homeschool thing. It is not something that I do solely on my own by myself. My husband is adamant that my kids are homeschooled, and we just want to make sure that, in order for us to be successful, that we both participate 100% in this so that our kids are successful. And then around the time Zorn is going down, Zoe is starting her school with Ashawn. I am starting on my afternoon routine. And my afternoon routine is getting the island and the kitchen kind of cleaned up. Again, loading the dishwasher if it needs to be loaded. Tidying up areas where the kids heavily play. And then I also start prepping and taking out, you know, the food that I need for dinner. So this is also the time if I need to run to the grocery store to grab something for dinner. I typically do it during this time block. And then I start dinner right at between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. I want to try to make sure that dinner is done by 5:30ish. It just depends on what I'm making. If I'm doing something in the crock pot, then I am going to start dinner early in the morning, you know. And then if it's something that needs to go in the oven, it's normally typically in the oven between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. So that's that. Zuriel starts his instructional time at 5 o'clock p.m. And if you have any questions about homeschool and scheduling and things like that, hit me up, write a comment down below, or you can email me at takesha@everydaynesbitt.com. Also, you guys, feel free to join my homemaking group, and that is the Everyday Homemaking Mom by Everyday Nesbitt on Facebook. So, you know, we pretty much would like to discuss any homeschooling, any homemaking, anything related to, you know, your life and things that you may need help with. You know, we have people there that would love to help. All right, so next question. This question comes from another content creator. Her name is Demira Lynch, and she actually has two questions. And her first question is, when do you have time to edit and plan out your videos? So this is what I just changed my schedule, you guys, and I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Before school started, because our kids started homeschooling the Tuesday after Labor Day, I was freely just like willy-nilly-yang it because they were like out of school for summer. But as soon as school started, y'all, I started struggling. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get this editing done. You know, how am I gonna get these videos out? Because we had to get on a schedule for them so that my days could run smoother, right? But I noticed that it was also leaving me no room to really edit or plan or record and things like that. So we had to go back to the drawing board just last week, and my husband and I were talking, and so we decided that I would be putting out a video on Fridays for weekly vlogs, and then I will be putting out a video on Monday for my weekend vlogs. I do not know if I want them to be a week out or 2 weeks out. For example, if I do my weekly vlogs right now, when will that weekly vlog go up? Will it go up the next Friday, or will it go up 2 Fridays after? And I'm just going to be realistic with you guys. I am not one who, I don't function well when I have a million things going on. So it's so good for me to slow down and plan. If I am not planning, literally it just makes my mind kind of go haywire. So what my schedule is going to be for YouTube going forward is I'm going to be vlogging pretty much Monday through Friday for the weekly vlog. And I'm sorry, let me scratch that, Monday through Thursday for the weekly vlog to post on a Friday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is going to be my weekend vlogs. And then anything related to homemaking or anything like this, like a sit down video, will go out on Wednesdays. So that kind of keeps me in the know. And so I edit Thursday nights, Sunday nights, and maybe Tuesday night. Yeah, for Wednesday. And then her second question is, what is your favorite thing about being a homemaker? I honestly want to say my favorite thing about being a homemaker is I love the fact that my family wants to be here. Like, everybody knows that this is home and everybody is happy. I'm happy, my kids are happy, my husband is happy, and like there is like no sense of you know, where, you know how it is when people don't want to be home. Like, I know I'm a homebody. I'm not one of those people that like to be up and going all the time. I love being home. So I'm not going to be that person that's jumping and running up and down the road. I don't see a purpose in doing that. So I am so glad that my family is the same way. Like, yes, we have people over. Yes, we go places, but they need to be places that are intentional, that is going to give us life and things that make us happy. So most times we are not going to be in situations or in certain crowds or around certain people if it's just not who we are. That's just not who we are. And I truly believe that's just the atmosphere my husband created when I met him, because he's that way. He's been that way since I met him. I was kind of on the wild side when I first got married. And so I just believe that God did a work in me, and I really love being home. And I think that's the best part about being a homemaker for me, is being home and having a safe haven and a place where I truly call this my peaceful place. When I come home, if I'm out and I'm doing something, I notice I have this urgent need to want to be home. Same with my kids. We can't be gone away from home for a long period of time. We just went on vacation in late August, and like after 2 or 3 days we were like, we ready to go home. Like, we're just ready to go home. So that's it. That's the answer. I have 12 questions from the Joy of Homemaking, and this is, I think, Jalea, and you can check out her channel. I will put it right here. She has quite a few questions for me, but I'm only going to pick out a few, some that are pretty easy to answer. So the first thing I'm going to answer, she says, how long have you been married? I have been married for 15 years. I have been with my husband for 17 years. How many children do you have, and are you guys planning to have more children? We have 4 and 0 more. We are done. So my husband and I are in our 40s, and we have no desire to have more children, only because we just don't. My husband, if it was up to him, he would have 8 kids, but because of health reasons, and I've gone through 4 C-sections. I'm not ashamed to say that. I've gone through 4 C-sections. We have decided to let number 4 be it for me. So, and then when did you first become born again? I want to say I became born again at the age of 22. And then my husband and I both, we was baptized a second time in, I think, 2011. So that's that. Where is your dream vacation? Oh, I love this one. My dream vacation is quite a few places. Me and my husband kind of go back and forth on this, because he really wants to visit South Africa, and I'm like, I'm good on that. You know, I don't need to go there. You know, I love Africa, trust me, but I'm so like, what if we can't come back home type, you know. I know people that have gone to Africa and they love it, and I actually want to go there. It's just not my most, it's not on my list of priorities of places that I want to go. So I would say the first place I would want to visit is, of course, South Korea. Then Italy. Italy would be it. I think he wants to go to Australia, and of course South Africa. I would love to go to Jerusalem, Nazareth. I would love to go to places that like are highly spoken of in the Bible. So that's just me, and I think he's, you know, he definitely wants to go there, but I definitely want to go there. Like, yeah. What is your favorite food to cook? All right, so you guys have seen it. It has been on my YouTube quite a few times, and we do this for birthdays and special occasions. We do this every year for breakfast, for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It is my breakfast rice. I grew up on breakfast rice. I love it. You know, you can make changes to it however you want to change it, but my mom made this for us, and I make it, and it's like literally a staple in our house. I love it. My kids love it. They know if I'm making breakfast rice, like, they get really happy. Are you planning to homeschool? We actually are a homeschool family. We started homeschooling in 2017. The spring break, the Monday after spring break, we started homeschooling. Are you the only child? I am not the only child, you guys. I am not the only child, but it kind of seems, my mom is very special. She makes all of her kids feel like they are the only child, and she has a way of making all her grandkids feel like they are the only grandkids, but she treats them all the same. She's super she's not into favoritism or anything like that, but she does, if she does for one, she does for all her grandkids, and she's the exact same way about her kids. I feel like I am an only child. I am a special girl. I am my mom and my dad, I love them. Like, literally, I'm starting a garden. They live about 2.5 hours away. They're like driving up here to help me get my garden started. I'm not an only child. I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, and I love them dearly. I don't live around any of my family, so we get together for special occasions as much as we can. Next, what is your dream job? I am living my dream job. I'm living my dream job. And it's funny because I never really knew that this was my dream job until I started living it. So, what are your favorite stores to shop at? Why? I love to shop. Target, of course. I'm a Target girl. I like Walmart. I'm not opposed to Walmart. I just can't buy their produce. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah. So when it comes to shopping and saving, we are a 1 time a month income family. So it's important that I make sure that I maximize our dollars as much as possible. It is not, I'm not one of those people that be like, oh, I can't shop at Walmart. I'm not that person. I will go shop at some Walmart. The one thing I haven't gotten into that I want to get into is thrifting. I want to learn how to thrift. When I was growing up, my grandmother and my mother used to go every Saturday, and they used to do garage sales. They used to go shop garage sales, and I want to start doing that now with my daughter. But I would like to say for my kids, I mainly go to a children's place for them first before going anywhere else. For me, I love, as far as my clothes go, like this right here came from Walmart. This dress came from my actual boutique. And a lot of the dresses that you guys see on my like reels and shorts are from Lane Bryant, because I like Lane Bryant. I love wearing dresses. I feel that I'm not like, you know how jeans and pants kind of make you feel like you're being squeezed in. I love a good A-line dress, a dress that kind of flows out, and I don't like for my knees to show, so I like a dress that is either at the knee or longer. So that's why I am a person who wears shoes in her house. I wear shoes in my house, or I have on socks. I cannot walk barefoot. So I like to buy a lot of shoes, mainly flip-flops, or like slides, shoes that like mules, or shoes that I can just slide in from like Old Navy, New York and Company is one, and Target. So what is my favorite color? Green is my favorite color, any shade of green. And then outside of green, anything that is earth tone related is my favorite. I gravitate towards earth tones. As you can tell in my own home, it's not something that I try to do. It's just it appeals to me, and it gives me a sense of calmness. I also like things that are more neutral tones, blacks, whites, grays, you know. What is it? My favorite color is Perfect Grayish by Sherwin-Williams. And my favorite book of the Bible, is the book of Ruth. If you guys haven't noticed, my daughter's name is Zoe Grace. That is her first name, and her middle name is Ruth. We were not going to give her a middle name until the day that she was born. My husband immediately said Ruth is her middle name. And I started, and this was, of course, she's 9 now, but it was around that time I started to dig into Ruth, and I just became so in love with it. Just the character, who she was, and I'm so glad that my husband made that decision. And now he made that decision unbeknownst to me, and I didn't find out until maybe when we picked up her birth certificate that her middle name was Ruth. Alright, so that is it for YouTube. I have 3 more questions, and these all came from Facebook. And this is from Carrie Ann. She says, I love your calming voice. What made you start creating videos? I'm gonna be honest. I think I started creating videos because I wanted to see more people like me. And I'm not to say that I didn't have people, I didn't see people like me, but to say that the type of person that I am, I couldn't find. And so I feel like I'm super very relatable, and I'm very down to earth. I've been through a lot in my life. I don't try to fake it till I make it. That's not who I am. But I have real life experiences, and sometimes I feel like social media, a lot of people fabricate their lives, and that's just not me. I've tried so hard to connect with other women, and I couldn't figure out where the disconnect was. Like, what is that about? And so for me, the main thing was to build a community where women could just be free to be themselves. Like, if you're loud, be loud. If you're heavy, be heavy. If you love yourself the way you look, the way you are, your family, and your family loves you, there is something unique about every individual person. And I just got tired of being in a circle where you had to speak a certain way, be a certain way, dress a certain way, hair a certain way, you know, things like that. Oh, you have to have a certain status, or you have to be able to go this place, or you can't, you know. It's just, let it all go. I just don't have, life should not be that hard. Life should not be that hard to just be yourself. And so I wanted to provide a sense of calm when someone watches me, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna see something that is totally against what a real homemaker is about. Like, my life is not boring. My kids are loud. Sometimes I look a hot mess. Some days I don't do anything because I don't need to. But, you know, on the other side of that lens, you know, someone may say, oh, you're this, you're that. But let me tell y'all, I can't stress enough that I am not here to judge anyone. And I say it all the time, no one is allowed to judge me. So needless to say, I noticed there is a slew of people who are mean girls online, and who are thumb downs people, or who just don't have anything positive to say. I started creating videos to show something different, to be different, to show people that you can be different. So my next question is from actually my good friend. Her name is Moretta Reed, and she asks, what advice do you have for moms who work from home in regards to organization and maintaining a functional environment in home? So if you are a mom that works from home, let's just say your job is 9 to 5, you have to communicate with your kids. Basically, if they are home, you have to have something that is going to not only preoccupy them, not a laptop, not an iPad, not the TV, but give them things that's going to make them think. For example, Zoran loves books. He will sit with a book in his lap for hours. And he loves Gracie's Corner. Like, he loves Gracie's Corner. But we have to make sure that if he's going to spend 1 hour of watching something on TV, that he is watching something that's going to help him develop mentally. There is another thing that we like our kids to watch, and I think I'm gonna link it down in the description because I can't remember the name. Now, functionality in the home, it is absolutely okay to create a space solely for your kids. I did it. It helps us because they can go in there and they can be as loud as they want or as quiet as they want. That's where they have movie time on Friday nights. That's where they have game time when they want to just play their video games. Like, it's okay. Functionality in your home is so important because it gives you a space where you can just kind of be as a mom to get other things done. And if you have really small kids, I would suggest a video, like a video surveillance camera in the area, just so that you can see what's going on, because you can't be in 2 places at once, right? You just have to have that visibility and be able to see what's going on when you're not in the room. Functionality also is making sure your fridge is stocked. Tend to create a space in your fridge, freezer, or pantry for your already pre-planned out meals for dinner. Same for breakfast or same for lunch. And then just kind of let the kids be. I think when we looked for a house, we made sure we wanted a house that would solely be for our kids. We needed that. In our last house, we didn't have that. They had nowhere to go if we were like to have if we were like to have like Bible study in our home, there was nowhere for our kids to go, you know, so like to like be with other kids in our house. So this house, we were looking for a home with intention, you know, hosting and not telling people that they could not bring their kids, because realistically people have kids, we have kids, and so normally we're not going to a lot of places or events because our kids can't go, or we're not going to places that we feel is conducive for a child to be at. So if someone doesn't have that extra space for the child to go into another environment, then we're either not going, and we wanted to provide that for not only our family but for other families that came to visit. All right, so the last question is Nebraska McHone. She said, I love your videos. I'm fairly new to your channel. Also, if you've answered this question already, I'm sorry. I love to know the story about how you and your hubby met, and how long have you been together. Thank you and God bless. All right, so I'm just going to give you the rundown about who I was before I met my husband. I was a hot mess. Again, like I said, I had rededicated my life around the age of 22, had a couple of life scares, and I decided, you know, I was a mom of a 1-year-old at the time, and I decided at the time I was going to save myself from my husband. So I felt like during that time, God, not only was I committing my life and my body to the Lord, He put me in a position to be found. He also put me in a position where everybody that was a distraction or just wasn't right or did not lead me down the right path, I truly believe that God removed them from my life, and with good purpose. So I end up leaving my job. I worked in insurance, and it's a funny story. Worked in insurance, and I ended up leaving my job to go to another job, and that's where my husband worked. And I literally met him. I worked in human resources, and he came inside because at the time, and they probably still do this, I don't know, but back then, this was in 2004, we actually would give our employees free city bus passes. So all the employees who worked for this company would come in and they would sign for a bus pass. You know, if you decide, hey, I don't want to drive my car, I just want to ride the bus for free, save on gas, bam, especially if you lived in the city. So a lot of people were doing that worked for this company. And this one particular day, he came in and he and I kind of locked eyes, and I loved the way he walked. He walked with a confidence that I had not seen a lot of men his age walk. And so when I noticed how he was walking, I was like, he is somebody I want to know. And he was looking at me, and he said the same thing, but we were saying the same thing about each other, but we never said anything to each other. So during this time, I had got his name. Of course, I work in human resources. I'm about to tell some stuff. Y'all, we got to keep this story between us, okay? Shh. So he signs up for his bus pass, he leaves, and I start to research him. Literally took his name, researched him, found out where he lived, found out his phone number, and for the longest time, no matter what I did, no matter who I talked to, I could not find anybody that knew him. I could not find a high school because in our area where I lived, which was my hometown, there were like 6 different high schools, and I knew everybody that went to like all the high schools. So everybody I talked to, nobody knew him. Nobody said that he went to the high schools. So I was so frustrated. And then one day, one of my coworkers said, I'm getting ready to walk over to his department. And I said, oh, you're walking over to Ashan's department? And he says, yes. He was like, oh, do you know Ashan? I said, I only met him once. and I said I would love to get to know him more. And so my coworker went over there, told him, we exchanged emails, and we were emailing each other. And then one day he asked me to lunch. And when he saw me, he realized, now mind you, when we were emailing each other, he didn't recognize that I was the same person he saw the day that he picked up the bus pass. But I knew who he was. So when he came to pick me up for lunch that day, he was like so shocked, but he was also like, yes, like, you know, like, ooh, this is her, like, this whole time. So anyway, so we decided, after about 6 months, maybe 8 months of being friends, just really getting to know each other, developing a foundation and a friendship, we decided that we would take it a step further and become more than friends. And so around this time, he would still only take me out during the day. He would never take me out at night. He would always walk me to the door. He would never come into my home. And he would always be on time. He would always pay. It was just a very different type of guy that I was normally used to dealing with. And one day I was just like, he would not hug me. We would not kiss, because I was like, yo, you need to kiss me. You need to kiss me, like, what is going on? And so one day I stopped him. He walked me to the door one night, and I was just like, what is going on? Why, you know, no hand holding, no nothing. And he's like, no, he's like, I'm courting you. And I was just like, oh, is that what that is? Like, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, I want to know that you're into me, like into me, something, you know. I don't need a kiss, but you know, it would be nice to have tried, you know. But, and that's just me being honest, y'all. So anyway, push come to shove, we end up meeting each other's parents. I don't think that went really well, but God had plans for us. So from there on, we continued to be pretty much best of friends. And then we got married in 2007, October 20th, 2007, we got married. And here we are today, 2022. We will be married for 15 years and 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Nope, 2.5 weeks. So you guys, that is it for my question and answer session. I'm so glad that you stuck it out with me. This has been weeks in the making. I promise you guys, I was not neglecting you. I was just busy, and I think I'm ready to get this back. I'm ready to get back to work. So next, we are going to be, not next, but soon, I am going to be coming out with a 8-video series called Your Homemaking Purpose, and I cannot wait for you to see it. Join me over on TikTok. Please don't forget, join me on Facebook as well. I would love to have you in both places. I'm not really active on Instagram. Instagram's not really my thing, but I'm on Instagram. I will try to engage as much as possible, but I do solely appreciate you guys for staying and watching this whole video. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have any other questions, maybe a part 2 of this video could come out. I would love to have my husband sit next to me so we can talk a little bit more in depth. If you are not a part of my newsletter, my husband does make these really nice blog posts in the newsletter called The Homemaking Husband Now, and that is basically to talk about the role of the husband, that the role of the homemaker's husband, because most time when you're seeing a homemaker, you kind of don't see their spouse, and that's something we want to debunk, only because I know for a fact that most homemakers are not doing everything on her own, and so I don't. and I won't. And I won't apologize for it. My husband is very active. He's a very active husband. He's a very active father. And he is a true leader of his home. And I love him and I appreciate him. So his blog post, I hope, really would touch someone. And if you like it, share it with someone or share it with your husband. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you on the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share, okay?